Let's talk about the proliferation of, we call it fake, adulterated, substandard, whatever word you want to use as far as medication is concerned or drugs is concerned in Nigeria. It's been some very difficult times sometimes when you hear, I think that was a while ago when NAFDAC had to swoop in because drugs were being sold when we had the NAFDAC DG here. Children's drug medication sold that were fake. For me, that's another form of terrorism. But to what scale? What's the dimension of fake drugs? Especially now that everybody complains about the state of the economy and uses it as an excuse to do one thing or the other. That's why we're having this segment and this conversation. Dr. Lulu Ojo is the Managing Director of Merit Healthcare Limited and also a medical expert. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you so very much.
It's good to see you.
Thanks.
You know, there are so many questions you have to answer, but let's begin with your overview of why this is so much of a concern to you. You are a doctor, you've seen it, you've witnessed it, and maybe seen the very dire consequence of what fake drugs can do. Maybe you walk us through maybe a scenario, a case study, or something in that nature, so that we use that as a background to understand that this is serious, not a joke.
Thank you so much. You've said it. This is serious and it's not a joke. But first, I'm a pharmacist.
Okay, pharmacist.
Yeah, and my job is about drugs. That is what I'm trained for, and that is what I know. What do we do? Where do we start? Because we have been on it for a very long time. As a very young man, I will tell you, you mentioned case study, I will tell you a particular one that was pathetic. I was with a doctor. That time, I think that was between 1987 and 1980. It's not something that started yesterday. It's been with us for a long time. He told me that anytime he writes or gives drugs to patients, he tells himself that, God, this drug that I'm giving to the patient, in my heart, in my knowledge, I know it should be ampicillin. Even if it is not, please let it do the work of ampicillin to this patient. Is that bad? But thank God, things are getting better up to now. But it is still a bad case. We can nicely describe it as a silent epidemic. From the global level, WHO, that is World Health Organization, in a recently published fact sheet, I think about December 2024, said 1 out of 10 medicines in India in developing countries are fake or substandard, whatever it is. That is what WHO said. Now, in Africa, other studies tell us it's about 20%. That is 1 out of 5 drugs that you take or is prescribed for you, you may find yourself taking a fake product. Now, in Nigeria, particularly in Nigeria, the fact that we get from NAFDAC, from the survey conducted, is in the lower teens, that is between 12 to 15% of the circulating drugs are fake. Whatever it is, even if it is 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 20, is a bad thing. Because for the person taking it, it's double jeopardy. If I buy a new phone, I can announce it, I can carry it, say my new phone. But do you see anybody celebrating buying his drug? The fact that you have to go and buy medicine means that something is wrong with you. And the medicine you buy is expected to do something, correct that which is wrong with you. Now, you now buy that medicine and it's fake. It doesn't help you. You have lost your money. Your health will deteriorate further. We are dealing with a big problem. We are.
So let's break it down. You are a pharmacist, so you can, I'm not a pharmacist. I would not be able to distinguish, because one of the biggest parts of this conversation is for you to help us, to the best of your ability, help us to identify how to know which drug is fake. I know that there was a time it was a thing. I don't know whether it's still a thing now. When you buy medication in any pharmacy, NAFDAC will say there's a code. You scratch that code, and then you send a text to verify whether it's approved by NAFDAC and all of that. So I don't know whether that's still obtainable till today. So from your point of view, how can citizens, because right now citizens have to take responsibility, since they are not knowledgeable about this drug, they are sick, they will just want to get medication. What do you advise on how to identify fake drugs?
Thank you. The advice to the general public is first, vigilance. Yes, because you know that this product, there is a chance that you may be buying fake one. Then it is important that you are very vigilant. In things that I buy,
that's like saying the Nigerian way, shine your eyes.
Oh, you're right. And that was NAFDAC's language anyway. Shine your eyes. You need to be vigilant. I'm scared. Anytime I want to buy something, that is the truth. Because it's not only in drugs that you have fake something. So my number one thing is to go for the source that I know I can trust. And if a retail drug store is labeled pharmacy, it means there is a pharmacist in charge of that outlet. Therefore, you have paid for his services. So you could get in there and ask, I want to see the pharmacist. And I'm seeing you because of this product that I want to take. I'm believing that what you are giving me is the right thing. Because that is our job. That is what we are trained to do. We are trained to resolve any doubt, no matter how small, in the favor of the patient. Yeah, that is one thing. So you need to ask questions. Buy from reliable source. Ask for the pharmacist.
So one of your former presidents of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Mohammed Yaro Buddha, in the era of when Dora Akunyili was alive, said that about 70% of drugs in Nigeria are fake. So it's good to hear you say that the numbers have come down. You've said, I think, it's in the region of 12 or thereabouts percent. But we know that a good number of these drugs are not manufactured here in Nigeria. So maybe give us the numbers. How many percent can you say of drugs are manufactured here, and how many are manufactured outside our countries or imported? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, thank you. It's been part of what we've been complaining about all the while. Before now, we say 80% of national consumption are imported into the country. There are some other figures, 70%. I think NAFDAC is telling us now that it's about 60-40. That is 60% of what we consume is imported. Whether it's 60, whether it's 70, that is still a high figure. And that is what...
Do you believe that data?
You know, it's not about belief. It's about empirical evidence. So I will not be talking about belief. I'll be talking about what are the facts.
Most times what we see when we look at the pack of those medications, I'm not sure we see made in Nigeria a lot. We see that they are mostly imported.
The truth is that we are still so much import dependent. Even the manufacturing that we are doing in Nigeria, how much of the input is produced here? That's the truth. The excipients, the active substance, and so on and so on. The machineries, everything comes from abroad. So possibly it's water. I mean, that we have in here that can be 100% sourced.
So I'm just wondering how it works. Because I know that for you to import drugs or medication to another country, you should be WHO certified. Am I correct? For you to import to another country, you should be WHO certified.
Well, each nation have its own guideline. So for instance, in Nigeria, NAFDAC must certify you before you can start producing and sending to circulation for consumption. Now, there is a higher grade, in which case you'll be WHO pre-qualified or certified to say. But the certification that is required for you to manufacture and sell medicines in Nigeria comes from NAFDAC. That is the primary source.
So let's walk back a bit.
Okay.
My colleague is asking about manufacturing, which is a tall order, is not an impossible one.
Yes.
Because on one hand, there's manufacturing here that goes on even in Ikeja, but there's what parts? I mean, allow me to use the word component, the ingredients that are used to manufacture. How much of it is from Nigeria? Let's talk about the people who are importing the drugs, who are licensed. That is the bigger problem here. The licensed importers of medication or drugs in this case. Walk us through the process to get certification, because if we don't trace it from that end, all of this conversation is going to be academic.
Beautiful. I'm an importer, so I can tell you practically what we do.
Yes, so walk us through. Let's know where the problem is coming from.
I pick a particular product. Let's just call it any name, an antibiotics, any name. So the very first thing I do is to apply to NAFDAC for registration of that product. And NAFDAC has this guideline. Where are you manufacturing from? Okay, I'm manufacturing from France. NAFDAC will ask for all the certification that that manufacturing plant has. NAFDAC will do GMP inspection.
What does that mean?
Good manufacturing practice, to ensure that that place where the drug is coming from conform with international best practice. So NAFDAC does all that.
And yet we have fake drugs?
Let him finish. Let him finish.
No,
sorry, sir. I don't want you to lose the trajectory. So that if we're drawing an algorithm, we can follow. So you can continue.
Fine. At a point, NAFDAC will give me permit to import samples. This product that you say you want to be selling in here, give us sample. So we will bring in sample. NAFDAC takes it to his laboratory to test it. And it is when that one is okay that they say, okay, fine, you can have your certificate. But don't forget what I said. NAFDAC go to that manufacturing site to see them in action. NAFDAC does this. NAFDAC is doing a lot of things. NAFDAC does it to see them in action, that truly this organization can manufacture product that is safe for consumption. That is the official mode. The trouble we have is those that do not follow that official path. It is not for us. Every time NAFDAC come to our office to even inspect us, most time unannounced. But that is for those who are registered. The trouble is those that are not registered.
So why should the system allow someone, a group of individuals or an organization, to import something as serious as medication without being registered? I know you're not NAFDAC,
but the system will not permit that. It is part of the crime that we're talking about. Fake drug. You see, don't forget that we have different categories. We're talking about substandard. Substandard does not actually have a criminal intention. It could be because of storage, it could be transportation, but the medicine has fallen below standard. That is the one that's sold. But for the falsified or fake medicine, it's an intentional thing. So it's a crime. Somebody decided, it is an intentional, he decided that this is what he wants to do, and the government agent will not sanction that. Our border is porous. People bring in things, people bring in guns, people bring in hard drugs, people bring in a lot of things. Hey, when we are looking at this, we need to really be asking ourselves our questions. I mean, why do you want to make a fortune out of the misfortune of others? Because those who consume these drugs, they are people who are sick.
Even children.
Children, neonates, they are sick. And that is why they are buying. I told you, he says, but he's smiling and laughing because he wants to go and buy his drug. Now, somebody will sit down in his house and intentionally says that he wants to do fake drug. We need to ask ourselves that question. Where is our moral? I mean, value has gone down. It's all about money. And because we worship money in this part of the world, people can make money because of anything.
So, you've confirmed that NAFDAC actually goes through the stress of going to those countries to ensure that the medications coming into these countries are inspected before it gets to Nigeria for those who are registered like yourself. So it tells that maybe we have more persons who are not registered. I'm thinking so. But let me also ask this question. So what are the consequences of consuming such drugs? Because I'm thinking that one of them I think I've seen is the fact that you want to treat malaria, for instance, and you buy a particular medication, and then you realize that after finishing that dosage or that medication, nothing has changed. You have to go for something else. Is that one of the consequences of consuming? And then you can walk us through others.
Yeah, thank you. What you mentioned about NAFDAC, let me say it here. NAFDAC is trying. It may not be enough to cover what the problem is, but the truth is somehow they are trying. Possibly resource limitation, the mere fact that we are dealing with a very big country, the mere fact that we have different points, agencies, custom is there, the port is there, and all sort of things. That is why we are still having this trouble. Now, what are the consequences of consumption of fake medicine? Number one is treatment failure. You have mentioned it, malaria. Oh, particularly in children. You say, if I give you the pathophysiological cascade of malaria, that is how it starts and leads to death, you will see the gamut in there. So as fast as you can, you need to eradicate the parasite before you cause that damage. Now, when you use the drug, it is expected those that have that ability to regress the fever, or more importantly, parasitemia clearance, that is clear the parasite from the blood. When the product can no longer do it, it can cause treatment failure. And treatment failure can lead to so many things. It can lead to permanent disability. It can lead to death.
How seamless is the process of getting certified? Because I'm wondering why we, how seamless or how easy is that process? Number two, what's the difference between a pharmacist, a pharmacy, and a chemist?
How seamless is a registration process? It can be better. It can be better, but there are guidelines. I will wish that if I apply for registration of a product, within 3 to 6 months, I should be able to say, hey, I'm in the clear. We have not gotten there yet.
So where are we now? So where are we currently?
Again.
Don't worry, NAFDAC will not come for you.
Well, they will come, look,
because I see that you're trying to be a bit careful.
No. I have access to the hierarchy of NAFDAC, so there is nothing that I'm scared.
I guess that's why your process of registration was easier.
I'm giving you the fact as it is. I didn't enjoy any privilege. I go through
for now, how long on the average does it take to get your all clear?
Let's say 6 months to 1 year.
Wow.
Okay, 6 months.
But we could have preferred to tell it to be 3 months to 6 months. You know, and things like that. So maybe with time.
Is it expensive as well? Does it require money?
Oh, God, it requires money, a lot of it.
So you know why? The reason why we're asking all of these questions is why? Because we're trying to find out why will somebody choose to harm the citizens. We know there are people that are criminally minded. If you like, make it free for them to register. They will still look for a way to kill people.
Even don't let them don't tell them not to register. They will still kill.
Those ones are pharmaceutical bandits. Yeah. You know, so let's forget those ones. We're just talking about people that are just genuinely trying to do their work. But in beginning to wind down, let's talk about another part of this conversation now that we have you. The cost of medication. We've had a couple of pharmaceuticals leave the country. I think that was last year, at the beginning of the reforms of this government. A lot of companies closed shops, including pharmaceuticals, where medications I used to buy for. I think the people who are diabetic, they were here with us on one of the programs, and the gap between what they used to buy and now, I don't want to call a figure, but it's really wide. I mean, something within the range of less than 10,000, I think, to now almost 60,000 to be able to run their lives. You sell this medication, you sell these drugs. Why are medications that expensive now? Almost unreachable for a lot of people. Basic medication, even the ones that are for chronic diseases.
Yeah, you're right, and it's a conversation that we've been having for some time. I've been on this in this studio to discuss the rising cost of drug. The number one factor in recent time, and when I say recent time, between 2023 and now, is the exchange rate. Don't forget we have said that most of the drugs we consume here are imported. Even the ones that are manufactured, the inputs, what they use in that manufacturing, they are imported. So for the foreign exchange rate is the main factor that affects them. Before now, 460 naira, you can get $1. Until recently, we are getting
that was when naira was being subsidized.
When naira was being subsidized or whatever, at least
yeah.
we can get it at 460 naira, 500, worst case scenario, 550 or 600. But suddenly, the thing went up as high as 1,800 before we start seeing a downward trajectory. So what you have to do is multiply that change of about 4 to 5 times, multiply it by everything that you pay. The free on board, that is what we call FOB, that is how much it even costs.
I thought you were giving waivers on some of those importation because the government came out with a policy and pharmaceutical sector was part of the policy to say, to help citizens, sorry for cutting into your thought, to help citizens, they talked about importation of food and pharmaceutical product, even machineries, some level of a waiver in terms of, I think, I can't remember the details now, more like excise duty or significant cuts. So why didn't that affect the cost of products?
I tell you straight line, who have not seen that.
It wasn't implemented?
We buy our, you see, I'm talking about, there are many other factors that government could say.
Yeah, you mentioned exchange rates.
Let us bring it down, ease of doing business, let people be able to clear easily. But the exchange rate, nothing has happened to it. So what I'm buying at let's say $1, because I buy dollar at 420. It
Before
comes
now.
into my warehouse at 420, maybe plus some other thing, clearing charges and the maximum 500 naira. It comes to my warehouse. So I put 10% on it, it becomes 550. So then I can start selling, the retailer will put his own. Now, that same product that is costing $1 will now cost me 1,600 or 2,000 to get into my warehouse. So what do I do? Okay, I can say, because of this high cost, I do not go for 10% anymore. I want to go for 5%. But what will still be compared to 500 that I was selling before? So it is that exchange rate.
Right.
And because most of our inputs are still imported, we will have that challenge.
I'm not sure you answered my question on the difference between a pharmacy and a chemist. I want to know that.
My brother did not allow me.
I'm asking that because, look, the average Nigerian prefers to just go to a chemist. You know, madam, I have headache, I have this pain, mixed drugs.
That is what's reachable to the people.
So walk us through the difference, and then those chemists, are they ever registered?
Okay, I walk you through the difference. Chemist is an old use. Pharmaceutical chemists. We are pharmaceutical chemists. We have things like that. In fact, the law recognized the word chemist.
Oh,
but
wow.
But now the best nomenclature is pharmacy.
I like the way you just said that. Pharmacy.
That's the truth. That's the truth. So don't let anybody say I'm a chemist. The place must be registered as a pharmacy. Now, the people that you are talking about, I will start to recognize some category of sellers. And they are issued what they call proprietary patent medicine license. And this proprietary patent license has its own rules. You must sell only over-the-counter products. You must sell them on their original package. It's not that you will remove them and will be selling them in retails and things like that. But hey, given who we are, given the country that we are, Everything is gone bonkers. Everybody sell everything.
It's a question of everybody doing the
Everybody doing that.
So
everybody.
listen,
my brother, journalists want to sell drug.
No, we're not selling drugs. Don't bring us into the conversation. Our job is to ask questions, and we're comfortable in our space. But we must thank you so much for bringing to the fore this very concern that everybody is worried about, because for me is the worst form of terrorism, because if you go to where there is insecurity, at least you can see that these people want to kill you. But this is like people going to buy death unknowingly.
It's chemical terrorism.
So it's really bad.
Buy with their own money.
Dr. Lulu Ojo is the MD, Merit Healthcare Limited. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.